May 2011 examination paper for Fac1502. This question paper consists of 5 pages. This paper consists of 4 questions. Question 1, bank reconciliation for 13 marks. Question 2, control accounts, 15 marks. Question 3, adjustments, journals, trial balance, and statement of profit and loss and other comprehensive income, 49 marks. Question 4, depreciation and asset realization for 23 marks. The total is 100 marks. The time is 2 hours. Question 1, here we can read the following. What is required is A, prepare the proper balance closed of bank account for January 2011 as it will appear in the general ledger of OSO traders. B, prepare bank reconciliation statement of OSO traders as at the 31st January 2011. Let's look at question number 1. The bookkeeper of OSO traders posted the cash receipts journal and the cash payments journal to the general ledger of 4 January 2011 before he received the bank statement for the same month. The totals posted to the general ledger were total cash receipts 74,700, total cash payments 49,260. The totals for the cash receipts and the cash payments need to be posted to the bank ledger account. On comparing the bank statement with the cash receipts journal and the cash payments journal, the following differences were noted. On the 1st January 2011, the bank account in the general ledger had a favorable balance of 540 Rand. Here we see the opening balance for the bank account in the general ledger at 540 Rand. So we know it belongs in the debit side of the bank account. Here we can see 540. Balance brought down on the debit side because the bank account is in the general ledger is an asset account, and assets increase on the debit side and decrease on the credit side. The total receipts was also given at 74,700. The total payments, which decreases the bank account, belongs on the credit side at 49,260. All 3 figures are given. We've got to tick off 1, 2, and 3. The next one, number 2, on the 31st January 2011, the bank statement revealed a favorable balance of 10,170. The 10,170 belongs in the bank reconciliation statement for the end of January at 10,170 on the credit side because it is a favorable balance because the bank reconciliation statement, the credit side means the favorable amount, therefore we put 10,170 as the favorable amount on the credit side. This is given. The following charges appeared on the bank statement. These charges appeared on the bank statement, therefore they need to be updated in the bank ledger account. Here we see the charges of 350 plus 137 equals 442 belonging on the credit side because bank charges decreases your bank ledger account, and this needs to be updated into our bank ledger account because it reflects in our bank statement. So this is how we update the bank ledger account. You can tick these 2 out as well. The following checks in the cash payments journal have not been presented at the bank. So all of these checks that were written by us or by the accountant have not been cashed they do not reflect in the bank statement, but they have been posted to the cash payments journal. So these checks are waiting to be cashed and they do not reflect in the bank statement. Number 5, check 401, 405, and 407, that's these 3 amounts here, were all issued during July 2010. They are all stale and must now be cancelled. These checks were in favor of D Bank as payment for monies owing to him. So initially we wrote out these checks to D Banks and he did not cash the check and the check is now gone stale. So these were the amounts that were written in the in our cash payments journal in July, and he did not cash them. So we have now got to increase our bank ledger account and bring back the monies that we initially deducted to write out these checks. Here we see on the bank ledger account, we have the three checks of 401, 405, and 407. They belong on the debit side of the bank account because we are now increasing our bank ledger account because the money is now being put back into our bank ledger account because the check that we initially wrote out and thought D Banks is going to cash, he did not. It went stale, so now we're putting the money back into our bank account, and we do that on the debit side because the debit side increases the bank account. 6. An investigation of cash receipts journal revealed that the deposits totaling 28,920 have not yet been entered on the bank statements. These amounts here have not been entered on the bank statement, so they need to be carried over to the bank reconciliation statement. The bank reconciliation statement, as we know, increases on the credit side and decreases on the debit side. It's the opposite way to the bank ledger account, where it increases on the debit side and decreases on the credit side. However, the bank reconciliation statement is the other way around. So 28,920, which is outstanding deposits, belongs on the credit side because the credit side increases the bank reconciliation statement, and the bank reconciliation statement is like a waiting list. We are waiting for these deposits because they are outstanding and they belong on the credit side. Therefore, we need to show them and reflect that we have updated, somewhere in here we have updated our bank ledger account and said that we are increasing our bank by 28,900, our bank ledger account by 28,900, but it has not reflected in our bank statement. So we then reflected in the bank reconciliation statement on the credit side, saying that we are waiting for these funds because we have updated it already in our bank ledger account. Number 7, the bank statement showed a deposit of 1,980, which must be made by another client and erroneously entered in also traders' bank statements. Here we can see that the bank statement showed a deposit of 1,980. We have now got to reverse this deposit as it was an error made by the depositor. In order to do that, we can see that it only affects the bank statement. We have not updated it into our bank ledger account as yet, so we have got to we have now got to decrease the monies for next month. So 1,980 belongs on the debit side because the debit side decreases the bank reconciliation statement. We are now waiting for this 1,980 to be reversed. So we put it on the payment side as this debit side decreases our bank statement. So when that incorrect deposit gets reversed, we have already allocated this over here, and now we are waiting for this deposit to be reversed and to decrease our bank statements. Number 8, the cash receipts journal showed a deposit of 15,850 received from J. Bronco, a debtor, while a correct figure of 15,170 appeared on the bank statement. They tell us the correct figure is 15,170. So the incorrect figure is 15,850. and that was posted in the cash receipts journal. So what we need to do is 15,850 minus 15,170 will give us 680. Our cash receipts journal, or shall I say our bank statement, has now got to decrease. Our bank ledger account has now got to decrease, and we know that the bank ledger account decreases on the credit side, so that is why we put 680 Rand on the credit side of the bank ledger account, and J Bronco is the contra account. 9. Check number 482 for 3,020 drawn by Osso Traders appeared on the bank statement but not in the cash payments journal. We have now got to put 3,020 Rand on the credit side, as this was an incorrect check drawn, and we are now waiting for this money to be put back into the bank statement, as we will not update this as this check was drawn by mistake. So we are now reversing it. Instead of decreasing the bank statement, on which decreases on the debit side, we now are waiting. We are now putting it on the credit side and are waiting for this 3,020 Rand to be deposited back into the account. Number 10, a receipt of 6,540 from B Crux was incorrectly entered in the cash receipts journal as 5,640. We've got to minus these two figures. If we minus 6,540 by 5,640, we have 900 Rand, and we see that, and we have the cash receipts journal is short by 900 Rand. So we have got to increase the bank ledger account by 900 Rand on the debit side, and the contra account is B Crux. Here we see 900 Rand is on the debit side. Check number 483 for 1,842 in favor of A Randall was issued but subsequently cancelled and never mailed to the creditor. The bookkeeper, however, recorded the payment in the cash payments journal. We have got to put back the money into our bank account in our ledger account, because this was done by the bookkeeper. So in order to increase or put back the money into our bank account, we have to increase it on the debit side. So that is why 1,842 belongs on the debit side. We have now got to close off the bank ledger account. In order to do that, we have got to add up the totals. We come to 85,169. We bring that over to the other side. We then minus 680, 442, and 49,260 to come to 34,787 carried down, which we bring to the other side as being brought down. We then take the 34,787, which is a debit balance in the bank statement, bank ledger account, and we put it on the debit side of the bank reconciliation statement at 34,787. We also see that the three checks of 415, 480, and 491, these checks have been written out by the bookkeeper but have not been cashed as yet by the clients. So we've got to put them on the waiting list, which is called the bank reconciliation statement. And here we see the three check amounts. On the debit side is the payment side. So these are the checks that we are waiting to come off our bank to reflect in our bank statement. We have now got to close off or balance the bank reconciliation statement as at 31st January 2011. We add up the debit sides. we come to 42,110. We add up the credit side, we come to 42,110. We see that it balances, therefore the bank reconciliation statement is in balance.